We all know love is important, and anyone who has read even a small portion of the Bible knows love is a frequent topic. Simply doing a word search on the word love in an English language resource, whether printed or digital, will reveal something like 1,000 instances of the word being used. And of course, lurking beneath the English word for love are 5 different words, all translated as love, 1 from the Hebrew and 4 from the Greek. You may wonder why I don't just do a set of devotionals exploring each of these terms. That's interesting enough, but in the first place, you can easily find places on the internet that will explore those terms for yourself. And in the second place, that wouldn't really help us so much in the quest to learn what love requires. That's our quest this week. Yesterday we talked about love requiring kindness. Today, we talk about another major requirement of love as we find it in the Bible. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your Daily Devotional for Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. Of all the things love means in the Bible, the one thing it almost never means is romantic love. With the exception of the Song of Solomon in the Old Testament, love in the Bible means something other than romantic love. That should give us a huge clue about the kinds of things love requires. For love in the Bible is rarely about feelings. And when we in our culture talk about love, we almost always have feelings in mind. So understanding that biblical love is different from our common idea of love is an important first step in understanding it. When we spoke yesterday about kindness and tenderheartedness, we could easily have slipped into an understanding of love as a set of feelings, at least until we realized that kindness and tenderheartedness refer really to willing ourselves to be kind and tenderhearted to others when we don't really feel like it. And that's a second clue about love. Not only is it primarily not a feeling, it often compels us to act against our feelings, as when we were angry or estranged from one another. Then, kindness is hard. That leads us to the next thing love requires: unconditionality. True love requires us to love another without prior condition. Easy to say, hard to do. Where does this notion of unconditionality come from? First, it comes from the love of God, a love without condition. Our faith is built upon the foundation of God's unconditional love for us, though we call it something different. We call it grace. This idea takes full expression in Deuteronomy, where Moses tells the people, "It was not because you were more numerous than any other people that the Lord set his heart on you and chose you, for you were the fewest of all peoples. It was because the Lord loved you and kept the oath that he swore to your ancestors." So the idea of unconditional love is baked into our faith from the very beginning. Second, Jesus expands on this in his speech to the disciples on the night of his betrayal and arrest. We read this passage every year on Maundy Thursday because it is what Jesus calls a new commandment. Here's what it says in John 15. "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant does not know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. You did not choose me, but I chose you, and I appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, so that the Father will give you whatever you ask him in my name. I am giving you these commands so that you may love one another." The command is to love one another in the same way Christ loved us. That means without preconditions. We love unconditionally. That's hard. It's hard enough within our families when we hurt and betray each other's trust. But we do it because, well, family is family. But it doesn't make it easy. But to love others outside the family circle unconditionally, isn't that asking too much? Maybe. But it is what we do as Christian people. We practice it within our individual churches, like this congregation, as a way of preparing ourselves to practice it universally in the world around us. What it really asks us to do is to widen the circle of family to others who are not blood kin. Since this is Path Week in Tyler, let me use a simple analogy. Many of us come from families that help us out when we hit rough patches along the way. I am not too proud to admit to you that my parents more than once bailed me out of minor jams when I was a young adult. For example, helping me put new tires on my car when I just didn't have enough cash on hand myself. Should I have been a better steward of my finances? Should I have had some cash reserves for such an event? Of course I should have, but I didn't, and my parents didn't penalize me for it. For them, it was more important that I be safe while driving than to make a point of forcing me to live with the consequences of my actions. The same thing happens at Path. Only the people who come to Path typically do not have families who can help them out when they get in a financial jam. Who steps in? We do. We become, in a very real sense, the extended family to those in need. We expand our circle of family to include those in our community who need our help. It's unconditional love. And that's what we do. Tomorrow may be the hardest thing, forgiveness. But now may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.